Divorce. The end of a chapter. The unraveling of a life built together. In these moments, people turn to a guide, a divorce attorney. You trust them with your secrets, your finances, your future. It's a sacred bond, built on professional ethics. But what happens when that trust is broken? When your protector becomes the threat? Our story begins in a quiet office, with a desperate client seeking a way out. Attorneys are expected to work with precision, guided by strict rules of conduct. There's a bright, uncrossable line between the professional and the personal. Crossing it isn't just a mistake, it's a betrayal. This story is about one such line, and the man who erased it completely. He was known for his skill, his sharp mind, his ability to win. But behind the polished exterior, a different story was unfolding. A story of manipulation and blurred boundaries. Sometimes, the deepest wounds are inflicted not by an enemy, but by the one you paid to be your champion. We look to the legal system for order and justice, but it's made of people, and people can be flawed. The case we're about to explore is a chilling example of that fallibility. It's about how a professional relationship, meant to empower, twisted into something controlling, and how that twist exploded into a scandal that rocked a tight-knit legal community. This is a cautionary tale, a reminder that the rules exist for a reason, and when they're broken, the consequences can be devastating. His name was Marcus Thorne. In family law, Marcus was a legend, a shark. If you wanted to win, you hired Marcus. He was aggressive, relentless, and brilliant. He dismantled cases, searching for leverage and weakness. Judges respected his preparation, even if they bristled at his tactics. When Sarah Jenkins walked into his office, she was emotionally fragile, financially dependent, and terrified. She'd heard Marcus was expensive and tough. That's what she needed. Someone who could stand up to her husband's powerful legal team. She saw Marcus as her savior. The initial consultation was exactly what Sarah hoped for. Marcus was confident, reassuring, and strategic. He promised she'd be secure and free. Sarah left his office with hope for the first time in months. She had found her champion. Marcus's office, high above the city, was a testament to his success. He projected invincibility, everything under control. For Sarah, whose life was spinning out of control, that was powerful. She placed her trust, her future, and her life in his hands. She had no reason to doubt him. Marcus Thorne had built an empire on his reputation. To Sarah, he was the one person who could lead her out of the darkness. But reputations can hide dangerous flaws, and sometimes, the person you trust most is the one you should fear. The stage was set for a betrayal no one saw coming. The divorce was a battle. Daily legal filings, hostile emails, emotional turmoil. Sarah leaned on Marcus more and more. Strategy calls turned into long conversations about her fears and sadness. Marcus became her confidant, the one who truly understood. His voice was a steady comfort in her chaotic world. Office meetings drifted from legal matters to personal talks. He told her she was strong, offered her coffee, and listened for hours. For Sarah, isolated from friends and family, these talks were a lifeline. She saw him as empathetic, caring, never noticing the blurring line. Then came the text messages, first about the case, then more personal. Thinking of you? Hope you're having a better day. They arrived late at night, small gestures that felt significant. To Sarah, it felt like someone was always in her corner. She didn't see a breach of protocol, she saw kindness. She began to depend on Marcus for emotional stability. He was becoming her support system, her source of validation. The professional boundary was dissolving, replaced by shared secrets and late-night texts. Marcus was a master of strategy, inside and outside the courtroom. He was isolating Sarah, intentionally or not. She was becoming more dependent on him for everything. The line between attorney and client was vanishing. As the case progressed, Marcus filed motions to become Sarah's sole point of contact. All communication from her husband, his attorneys, even friends, had to go through Marcus. On the surface, it looked like protection. In reality, it was the first brick in a paper wall. Next, Marcus convinced Sarah to transfer her assets into a trust account he controlled. She signed without hesitation, trusting him completely. Marcus advised her to limit contact with friends and family, framing it as necessary for the case. Each step seemed logical, but together, they formed a disturbing pattern. Marcus was systematically cutting Sarah off from her support network. He became the gatekeeper to her entire life. To the court, he was a diligent attorney. To Sarah, a protector. But the paper walls he built were really a cage. The divorce dragged on, a marathon of legal skirmishes. One evening, after a tough day, Marcus suggested dinner, somewhere private. They talked about life, not the case. The attorney-client dynamic melted away. That dinner was the turning point. Late-night texts grew more affectionate. Office conversations filled with tension. Marcus was no longer just her attorney. He was the man who made her feel seen. For Marcus, Sarah was no longer just a client. She was vulnerable, beautiful, grateful. The professional detachment vanished. The inevitable happened on a rainy night. Sarah, distraught, called Marcus. He came over, not as her attorney, but as a man. He held her as she cried. In that moment, the final line was crossed. Attorney and client became lovers. Their secret was explosive, a direct violation of legal ethics. Marcus knew the risks, but he was in too deep. His judgment was clouded by personal feelings. Every legal decision was now tainted by conflict of interest. The roles of advocate and lover merged, endangering Sarah's case. The relationship was a ticking time bomb, and it was only a matter of time before it exploded. The first thread unraveled when opposing counsel, David Chen, noticed irregularities. Marcus's billing statements showed odd hours, late nights, weekends. Chen, suspicious, hired a private investigator. The investigator quickly found evidence. Marcus's car at Sarah's house overnight, photos of them at secluded dinners, hotel stays billed as case prep. The evidence was undeniable. Their relationship was both emotional and physical. Armed with proof, Chen filed a motion to disqualify Marcus for a profound conflict of interest. The motion included the investigator's report, painting a vivid picture of the secret affair. When the documents hit the court, news spread like wildfire. The shark of the courtroom had been caught. The paper walls Marcus built around Sarah came crashing down. The truth of his betrayal was exposed to the world. The legal community was stunned, and Sarah was left to pick up the pieces. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Marcus was disqualified from representing Sarah, leaving her vulnerable. The state bar launched a full investigation. His law partners distanced themselves. His reputation was destroyed. For Sarah, the betrayal was devastating. She had to hire a new attorney and revisit her case, now tainted by Marcus's actions. The legal process, meant to bring freedom, became another trauma. The case became a stark reminder. Ethical rules are the bedrock of the profession. The line between attorney and client exists to protect the vulnerable. When that line is crossed, the potential for harm is immense. Marcus lost his license. His career was over. But Sarah paid the real price. Her trust shattered, her wounds deep. The sacred trust between attorney and client is fragile and must never be broken.